Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to Simple Truth. My topic, you made a way. I was listening to Travis Green this morning, and it's just a simple song. You made a way, and it says, "When our backs were against the wall, and it looked as if it was over, you made a way." And then I think about this COVID-19, how it's almost like everybody's life is just being uprooted, and there are so many changes, and people are just responding in so many different ways to what is going on. But really, when you read Revelations, it just reminds you that these are the last days. These are the last days. And in Revelations, it talks of different things, but the wording, you have to understand that because of the time in which it was written, the descriptions that John made when he was on the Isle of Patmos of what he saw, he could only describe it based on what he had already seen and been exposed to. And so all of these years later, it's the scripture is unfolding, and we're actually seeing what John saw. It's reality. It's reality. And so this virus has shut practically everything down to bring us to a point where we're in our homes almost quarantined, except for those that actually have to go out to work. But you know what? It also gives us an opportunity to get in the Word. And as things are going along, God is making a way. He still continuously makes a way for us. He is still making a way. Even when it looks like our backs are against the wall, even if it might look like it's over, He is still making a way. And that's what He does. That's what He does. You know, there are a lot of names of God. And I don't know if you have a specific one that you kind of lean on or lean towards, but there are a lot of names of God. And the one that sticks out most to me is the fact that He is the am that I am, and that He is everything that I need Him to be. And so it doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter what we all may face from day to day. We have to know that He will continue to make a way. And I was just this self-evaluation and just looking at my life, and I've made several references to just looking back to January of 2020. And we know 2020 usually represents perfect vision. And with that perfect vision, it's not so much of what you see in the naked eye, but it is more of what you can see through your spiritual eyes. It's more of what you can see through your spiritual eye. And so when I look at how the year came in, it seems like there was just turmoil. Like every time I turned around, it was something. But what I noticed in looking back and being able to see is that in what I saw, I personally was not fretful. I wasn't fearful. I looked at the situation and then I prayed about it. I made a point to keep my eyes on him. I made it a point to keep my eyes on God. So when the situations was coming, they were coming. In every situation that it was, as they came, I kept my eyes on God. And I prayed about it, and I kept whatever the situation lifted before him. I prayed about it, and I prayed about it. And I kept my eyes focused on him. And he made a way, and he made a way, and he made a way. And so then it looked like, okay. So now that I had a momentum going with keeping my eyes on him and being prayerful about everything that was going on. And it wasn't so much my own personal stuff. It's just people around me was going through, and, it was this, that, and the other. It's like every time I turned around, there was something. And so I continued to pray, and I was lifting people up, and I was and the thing that I've learned probably more now than ever before was to be still and meditate on his word. Not a whole lot of scriptures, just one or two. But I would look at the words in the scripture, and I would just sit. I sit and I meditate. And as I meditated, I was learning how to give it over to him. I was able to give it over to him. I was able to release it. I prayed about it, and I was able to release it and give it over to him. And so, sitting and meditating just on a regular basis, the meditation gives me a sense of peace in my own mind. And so the enemy knew I wasn't being bothered. The news might have been disturbing, but I took it to God and I released it to him. So I wasn't bothered. And, you have a conversation with some people, and they tend to just dwell on what it looks like. And so what I have to do, what are you praying about? I'm asking. Are you praying about it? If you're praying about it, what are you praying? What are you praying concerning that? Are you leaving it in God's hand? Because there's nothing we can physically do about it. Are you leaving it in God's hand? And really, a lot of times I'll step back and I won't keep talking about it, because there's no need to keep talking about it. But we should be praying about it. And really, you don't even have to keep praying about it, because when you pray in faith, you can leave it. You can leave it with God. You can leave it with him. You don't have to keep going back trying to see if... You don't have to keep doing all of that. So I'm praying and leaving it at his feet. And so I wasn't being bothered. So the enemy thought he raised the stakes a little bit. He thought he put a little bit more force behind it. And so it's coming at me. And because I'm sitting, and I know that's key for me. It may not be key for you, but I've learned that for me, it's key that if I could just be still if I could just be still and meditate on His Word, that He'll give me peace right in the midst of the storm, that He will give me peace. So He was throwing rocks, He was throwing things at me, and I be still and I think about it. I recognized what it was. And I was like, just have to be still. Pray about it. Give it to God. And then just be still. Watch Him work. Because I know that God is going to do something big. And so we're having all these distractions. Anything that He can distract you with, and He being our adversary, the devil, He knows that God is about to do something big. And so He's throwing out all of these distractions to get you off focus, to keep your mind on everything else except for the fact that He will make a way. So I was at Walmart the other day and I didn't need, and that's the thing, timing is everything. I had actually just went to Sam's and purchased like the big thing of the toilet paper and the paper towels and some water, and it was like this all just came. So I'm not pressed, but all of the conversation and all the business going on, with people trying to stock up on all this stuff. Really, your actions, looking at, especially the believer, you have to ask yourself, what do you believe? Do you not believe that He's a provider? Do you not believe that God will take care of His own? If the sparrow doesn't have to worry about where he lay his head, don't you know the God that we serve will take care of us? I wasn't bothered. I'm like, but you have to go to the store. I mean, I was out of eggs, I was out of milk, I was out of bread. So you have to go to the store. But as I walked through the store, it was like watching a movie being filmed. It's like actors in their prospective places, and the cameras were rolling, and there was a movie being made, and everybody was just busy, just going through. I'm looking at the shelves, and some of the shelves are empty. I go to the back, and there are just empty shelves. There is no toilet paper. There is no paper towels. Just so many things, the things that we probably take for granted and shouldn't, gone. Just gone. And everybody is just like, you think it's bad when you get a threat of it's going to snow and you're expecting to probably be homebound. But this is like something that I've never ever seen. And I'm reminded that it looks like the story that John told in Revelations. And so if you think back, Every so often, there has been something that has caused an uproar in people's lives to put them in a state of panic. There's been periodically there has been things. It was the swine flu. There was the anthrax. It's always periodically been something. But if you noticed, the time frame in between are getting smaller and smaller. So this time, it's the coronavirus. If you live long enough, it's going to be something else that's going to be a little bit more deadly. And this flu actually has touched the whole world, whereas all of the other things may have been heavily concentrated in certain areas. This one thing has touched probably every continent. Haven't done any research or read or heard that, but I'm sure it has. It looks like it has. So the whole world pretty much was in a panic state. But what about the next time? And the next thing that comes through that affects the whole world? Some countries probably worse than others. Continue to panic? Will you continue to live in fear? Will you hope that what you already got stored up from this time, you'll still have some of it for the next time? He will make a way. But you have to keep your eyes on God. You have to keep your eyes on God. That 2020 has to be between you and God. That 2020 vision, it has to be between you and God. He will make a way if you trust Him. When you know who you are. I also listened to that song this morning, I Believe by Lauren Daigle. I love that song. And the words are so powerful. The words are so powerful. And that serves as a reminder. You have to be careful. You got to be careful of what's feeding your spirit. What you're taking in through your eye gates and your ear gate. Heard that Sunday. What you're taking in through your eye gates and your ear gates, it's feeding you. It's feeding your spirit. So what you're taking in shapes and forms that person that you are. What you take in, it takes form in you. It starts to take shape and form within you. So you have to be careful. Be careful. And that's my word of wisdom That's my word of wisdom. Right now we're reading Proverbs. The month of March, every day a chapter of Proverbs. And if you're familiar with Proverbs, wisdom, the behavior of a fool versus behavior of a wise person. Wisdom. You have to have wisdom. You have to have wisdom. You have to have discernment. You have to have wisdom. So you have to be careful what you take in. Good morning, sissy. You got to be careful what you take in, because it begins to shape and form who you are. It begins to affect the way you think. And when it begins to affect the way you think, it begins to affect how you feel. So you have to be careful. And I was watching, an example, I was watching The Housewives of Atlanta on Sunday night. And to be adult grown women, and the things that they say, the way that they talk, it will leave a very negative and bad impression on young women coming up. Young women that may not be of age to be wives, and I don't even know why it's called wives, but the way they talk, the things that they say, and knowing that this is being broadcast for the whole world to hear and for the whole world to see, that image, it's not good. It's not good. Like, if you have anything about yourself, and if you're raising girls, you wouldn't want your girls to see that. You wouldn't want them to see that women are being portrayed in that way. Hip hop of Atlanta, New York, whatever, the language, the way in which these black women are carrying themselves. What does that say about us? Sometimes I cringe when I hear some of the stuff that they're saying. And Larry gets on me all the time. Said, you should be watching that. And he's telling the truth. He's telling the truth. And I don't know, I guess it's something in our human nature that kind of wants to see it anyway, even though you know it's bad, it's not good for you. It's just something within you that still want to hear it and see it anyway. But sometimes I have to turn the station because of the way they carry themselves. I have to turn the station. Their language. Sometimes it just makes me cringe. Some of the things that they say, the way they act. And these are black women. I mean, and they do good things. Most of them, I guess for the most part, they have something going on in the communities that they give back. But I think what it does is it teaches young women that the mixture of the two, like it's okay, and it's not. It's not. It's like blessings and curses coming out of the same mouth at the same time. Because when they're in a distressful place, they might talk about the Lord, or they say things that indicate that they are a believer. And it's like blessings and curses coming out of the same vessel. The Bible said can't be. But God will provide no matter what. No matter how this all pans out, no matter how long it lasts. It's been a game changer for sure. It has shut a lot of things down for sure. And I'm sure that for the most part we will recover. But there'll be a next time. There will be something else that will get everybody stirred up, that will make everybody fearful. That's why you have to know what you know. You have to know what you believe and who you believe. Because I know that the God that I serve, He's going to make a way for me. I don't have to live in fear. I don't have to live in panic. I can just sit here. And actually, I'm working at home until the end of the month. That was right down my alley. Because I do good working at home. And I appreciate the fact that they cared enough about me to not be exposed to the possibility of the virus. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. All things work together for good. All things work together for good. We may not be able to see it. I always say that life, a lot of things in life, it's like this huge puzzle that your naked eye cannot see, not even your spiritual eye, cannot see the whole thing at one time. All you get to see is small portions. So you have pieces of the puzzle all around, but because it's so big, most of the time you never know how or where all of the pieces of the puzzle fit together. You never know. But I do know who I serve. I serve a mighty God. He is the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. He's the first and the last. He is the am that I am. And He is in control. He is in control. I don't have to worry. I don't have to be stressed. Because I know He will meet every one of my needs. That's what I know. That's what I know. Good morning, Tristan. So this is it for now, you all. I try to get up there. I have to even be mindful, even though I'm working at home. I still got to sign in at 7:30. So thank you guys for joining me. Continue to join me every Wednesday morning at 6:45 for Simple Truth. And you know, one thing about truth, it's so simple. And it comes right to you. When you are a liar and you don't speak the truth, you don't tell the truth, you always have to try to remember what you said last. But when it's the truth, it comes right out. You can spew it right out. It's the truth. So you guys have a blessed day. Take care of yourself. If you have to leave home, put on the whole armor of God. Cover yourself with the Word of God. Be blessed, and I'll see you again next Wednesday morning, 6:45 for Simple Truth. Thank you. Bye-bye.